Welcome back, College Central baseball fans. I'm here joined today with Tanner Smith, catcher from the Oregon State Beavers. How's it going today, Tanner? Looks beautiful down there at Goss Stadium.
Yeah, it's going good. Just excited to be out here. Show you guys feel a little bit. Yeah.
For all the wonderful fans who haven't been to a game at Goss yet and all the people around the nation, it's a great stadium. It's literally in the center of campus. It's outstanding. It's right there, right where you want to be. And we have sunshine in Oregon, unlike the rest of you guys so far.
Yeah.
So we're set up today.
Oh, yeah.
So being as it's sunny today, that's not usually one of the easier parts about being in Oregon. What's the toughest parts about waiting till February 17th till we start this going? You know, especially after fall ball rolls around, we're done with fall ball. What's the toughest part about getting into the season here at February 17th?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely the amount of time in between from when you start going in the fall to when you get going in the season. Obviously, you start up in the fall and you get together with a group and you get to learn all the guys, and guys start to make huge strides as the fall comes to an end, and then you get started in the spring. But just like right when fall ends, is you like really want to get going because guys are starting to get together and starting to bond well, and the whole thing's starting to come together and come to fruition. So probably just the time in between, you just really want to get going. So
yeah, and it seems like this class here, this team knit, is just really close together. It seems like this group really wants to advance and be really good this season. So I'm really excited, being as a fan and as a watcher of these games here. When you talk about this, what makes Corvallis so special? I know I've asked you this before. Beaver Nation is so great. Tell me a little bit about what you think about this Corvallis.
Yeah, I mean, coming into it, I didn't really know, like very small town compared to what I'm used to in Arizona. I live in a pretty big town, a lot of schools, whatever it is. But just the amount of support we get, the amount of fans we get at even midweek games, like the one game that comes to mind for a midweek is the Portland game in Hillsboro last year. Like that's a whatever Tuesday, Wednesday game or whatever it is up in Hillsboro, not even the normal location of Goss Stadium. But like the amount of fans we had at that was absolutely crazy. So definitely just the support we get, the amount of people that come out and show love to us, and all the people that support us around town, even when we see them out, not in uniform or out the field or anything like that. Just like the level of support and the amount of love that they show us is just unbeaten by far.
Yeah, Beaver Nation really does show up, and it shows up everywhere where you guys are at. The support is always out there, which is outstanding. Being as you're a student athlete, what's the favorite class you're taking now, or the favorite class you've already taken last year?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just starting to get into my business major classes, so those are intriguing, I would say. But definitely my favorite one as of right now is I took a billiards class, a pool class, my freshman year fall, and that was just fun because it was kind of like out of the ordinary. I've never really done anything like that, so it was kind of cool to like actually be able to take that as a class and like learn the game of pool a little bit.
We might have to shoot sometime. I don't know if you know this, but I've been to the national championship 3 times. So
Yeah, I have seen that. I have seen that. You
it's a
probably kicked
fun
my butt,
time.
but
We'll
yeah.
get you out there, start shooting. All right. You know, there's a lot of tough positions in college. I think personally that catcher is the toughest position in the baseball game, especially at the college level. You work with so many pitchers. How do you work with it being that challenging, and how do you work with every guy individually? Like that seems like a lot. You might have 20 pitchers on the roster right now.
Yeah, it's definitely, I would say, is like the hardest from a player standpoint. Is you gotta like, there's a lot of things that go into making a good catcher, but like a few points that stick out to me is like communication with your pitching staff, communication with the pitching coach, all the other coaches and stuff like that. But you really got to get like hunkered down, especially in the fall. Like you got to learn these guys, like you got to learn what they throw. You got to learn like their pitching cues, like small things that I can adjust mid game, mid outing, whatever it may be, just some small stuff like that. But for me personally, I take a lot of pride in providing like the defensive aspect of being a catcher. I take a lot of heart and like making sure that my pitchers get off the mound with minimal pitches, minimal hits, minimal runs, minimal walks, like all that type of stuff. Like I take a lot of heart in that. So definitely just providing like a spark for them and like showing them that I have energy, being able to like I say, like communicate with them, like is definitely like the hardest piece, but I would say is like the biggest aspect of it all.
Yeah, it feels like you've got that trust built with these guys. They understand that you're going to be behind the dish. And myself and a lot of other media members think that you're probably the best receiver of the ball in the Pac 12. great catcher behind the dish, and these guys trust that what you're going to call the game and set them up between you and Dorman really is what they need to achieve, and they seem to be buying into what you guys are doing. So I think that trust is just a huge part between you guys that is makes this staff so successful. Also,
Yeah, definitely.
so before a game and after a game, it's important. Athletes, you guys got to stay big. Pre-game and post-game meals, where we at? What's your favorite meals? What's the go-to?
I don't really have much of a go-to, to be honest. We kind of mix up the meals every now and then pregame, especially like being on the road is a struggle because you go to places like Pullman that don't have the options that you have when you go to like anywhere in Arizona. But we get a lot of Jimmy John's and a lot of Subway and stuff like that pregame. So, I mean, that's kind of the go-to, I guess, for the entire team. May not be our favorite, but we get that quite a bit. So.
Yeah, sandwiches are the easiest, especially when traveling. It seems like they're everywhere, so sandwiches seem to be the go-to.
Yeah.
I know that it's tough. I was already telling other people. I always had peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. I don't know. I just stuck with it. It just stuck in my head. So
Yeah,
peanut butter and
definitely.
jelly.
Definitely the easiest.
It's so easy. All right, when we look at the season, there's a lot of ways to spell success. I think the first thing we look at is Oregon State wins the Pac-12 if what?
I would just say we have a good chance at winning it if we play our game. We have we're very big on the defensive aspect of the game. So like if we can provide our pitchers with the support in the field, I know our bats will get the job done. But definitely just on the mound, commanding the zone, getting guys out, dominating every pitch, and then just like staying to our approach in the box. More just getting strikes, hitting strikes, laying off pitches that aren't strikes. All that type of stuff. It's just the way we play the game. If we play it our way, we'll have a very good chance at success.
Yeah, watching the fall ball, it looked like the pitchers were really dialed in. And then when you look on the offensive side, the speed, it was incredible to see the amount of speed you guys have on the base paths and these guys running around out there. I'm intrigued to see what the speed leads to, especially with the mix of power. Got guys like you, Bazana, and Forrester out there. I think that little mix there with the speed up at the top of the lineup and mixing you guys in, I think this is a good little put together. People are worried about the offensive side. I'm not worried at all. I think that you guys are meshing well, and I really believe that the power numbers are going to come. When you look at this team, it was so close to Omaha last year. We were right there on the cusp, one hit away basically from being in Omaha. How do you guys build on that momentum and then break through this year? I know that the plan is always Omaha for Oregon State. That's kind of the lofty goal every single year. How do you build on that momentum?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot that goes into it. Obviously, you have all the guys that are returners who got a taste of that last year. Like you seen the Garrett Forrester interview the other day when he did the media stuff. He's got the picture hanging in his locker of Auburn dogpiling on our field, and like as a returner, like that's something that is the absolute worst. Like it was such an awful feeling for us. And I would say like the biggest piece of it is getting the guys that come in, like the new guys, just having that chip on their shoulder as well, getting that instilled in them and all that stuff. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely not the greatest feeling in the world. But I definitely think that the all the new guys have picked it up and understand what the returners are feeling, and we all kind of mesh together in the same way that we have the same goal. And Omaha is just a staple for our program, and we have a definite chance of like shocking some people this year with the amount of pieces that we lost. But I definitely think that we can put it together and make it happen.
Yeah, I believe that the staff has done a terrific job bringing guys in to fill in the voids here from last year, losing the whole outfield. But the outfield turnover, there's guys there that are ready to play. It really seems like this team has built what is necessary. And you're going to have this whole preseason kind of to work things out and figure out who's going to be in the lineup in different spots. But coming into Pac-12 play, I believe that you guys are going to be rolling. I believe that this Beaver team is what we're looking for to move on to that next role. All right. When we talk about guys, though, there's a lot of new pitchers in this staff. Who's a pitcher that maybe isn't a household name now that will be after this season?
Ooh, that's a great question. We got a lot of new guys and a lot of up and coming talent, I would say. But one big guy that stands out that we got in is Trent Sellers and Rhett Larson. Both of those guys had like an unsurmountable amount of innings at their previous schools, and they got here and they just started dialing it in right away. So I definitely think that those two guys are going to provide a good, I would like stability to the bullpen and the pitching staff. So those two guys are definitely ones to look out for, in my opinion.
Yeah, a lot of experience. I mean, Sellers was like 27-1 as a starter and
Yeah.
2.35 ERA. The
Yeah.
dude's electric when you watch him. And in the fall ball, I was just shocked to see that he is that guy. He you
Yeah.
know he's really lining himself up to be a weekend starter and be a dude on the mound for you guys. And
Yeah.
Larson, 8 walks in 101 innings or whatever. That's insane.
Absurd.
That's utter insanity. That just
Yeah.
doesn't happen.
It's unheard of.
Yeah. But that fits in with what Dorman's trying to do. Pitching and defense. He gets out there, he makes pitches, he wants you guys to attack the zone, which is kind of what you do behind the dishes, making sure that these guys are throwing it where you want it and attacking everything that you're going after. So it's terrific. I think that there are a lot of pitchers on this staff. Everybody knows the Kamats, Townsend, and then you're talking about, all the guys here that we've already had in the past, Ferrer and Brown. I think that the staff's ready to go. I know you're excited for this season. As we talk about excitement here, what's your favorite Cannon moment? I know there's a lot of them probably. What's your favorite one with Coach?
Yeah. There's a lot to be named. He does a lot of funny stuff in the clubhouse and stuff like that. But my favorite moment is probably when I hit my grand slam at Cal. They made a pitching change to go to a righty slider guy, and Gavin Logan's obviously a left-handed bat, so righty on right on left, like all that stuff, matchups play into it. But they brought that guy in, and then Cannon brought me over to the third base box and was like, hey, like I think we might pinch hit Gavin here, just for matchup reasons. And then he decided to leave me in, and I hit the grand slam, and he gave me like the biggest hug I've ever gotten in my life. After that, he was so excited. He's like, that's what I'm talking about. Like that's you right there. So that was definitely awesome for me.
Yeah, that was such a terrific moment too, and such a big time. And then hitting a bomb in that ballpark was outstanding. And that series was really kind of that shift to where you guys were putting yourself in a position to try to win the Pac-12 last year. Stanford ended up winning because they just went on just a ridiculous hot streak down there at the end of the straight season. But you put yourself in the position to be successful and win that series. So I know that there was a lot of guys that were dinged up there the end of the season, and that was tougher at the end of the season. But moving forward, this team feels great, looks good. What else you got to say for Beaver Nation?
Yeah, I'm just excited. I think we're going to put a good squad out there this year. Shock a lot of people, especially with all the rankings coming out right now. So I'm excited for everyone to get out here to Goss Stadium and watch us play and just be ready for a show.
As always, Beaver fans show up. We're going to be out there, Tanner. We're excited for this season. February 17th, you guys are starting down in Surprise, Arizona. Good luck, and we'll see how the season goes. We'll talk later on the season. All right, bud?
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
Thanks for coming on, Tanner. Thanks for joining us again on College Baseball Central, guys.